Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Pickleball and Politics. As you can see, my voice is much, much better. I would say it's about at 95%. I want to thank everybody for all their little tips and tricks they sent me. I will say that I think the number one thing that helped my voice was rest. In other words, I finally shut up. Yeah, that's what made it better. Okay, as you know, Donald Trump finally announced who his vice presidential running mate would be. And as you know by now, it is Ohio Senator J.D.Vance. Now, I happened to have had the pleasure of seeing Senator Vance about a month ago in Detroit, Michigan at the Turning Point Action Conference that I was at. Now, as you know, if you've been following this channel and watching and listening to some of my escapades, I saw so many candidates multiple times up in New Hampshire and around the country in the last year as we've been into this cycle. I hadn't seen J.D. Vance until, like I said, about a month ago, and I'm kind of happy that I got to see him because now he is on the ticket to be Donald Trump's vice president. I want to tell you a few things about J.D. Vance. One, his birthday is August 2nd, 1984. That makes him a Leo. If any of you know Leos out there, they are born leaders. Barack Obama is a Leo. So also a leader, whether you like him or not, he is a leader. JD came on the stage. He's got a real presence about him. He is very, very confident, as he should be. He told everybody a little bit about his life. He's married. He has 3 kids. He met his wife at Yale Law School. He was a Marine for 4 years. He went to Ohio State, and he was sort of rubbing it in that he was in Detroit, Michigan, with all of that banter back and forth. And he talked about, he started with, first of all, I want to tell you, he has a beard, as you know. And I was kind of surprised by that. It was the first thing I wrote down. He has a beard. Because so many politicians don't have a beard. But the beard's become all the rage. Don and Eric Trump have it. Ted Cruz has a beard now. And I went to look up the last time we had a president or a vice president with a beard. And the last vice president with a beard was Charles Curtis. He was the vice president for Herbert Hoover. And he was the last one who had a beard in elected office. So if Trump and Vance win, he will be the first vice president with a beard in a long, long time. I know that stuff doesn't matter, but I like the culture pop stuff also. Okay, he came out, like I said, he's very confident. He told us that he had converted to Catholicism recently. He has 3 kids. And first thing he came out and said is, I want you to drive whatever you want to drive. I have no problem with electric cars. I have no problem with gas cars. I think people should drive what they want to drive and that we should have the options to drive whatever we want to drive. I appreciate that because I don't want anybody taking my gas car away. I'm just going to be honest with you. The electric stuff doesn't interest me, so I like that. He also said that he believes that people focus on problems when they really should be focusing on solutions. And he thought the number one solution to so many of our problems is to just start making stuff in America again. He said it's simple. He said his kids, having those 3 young children, that antibiotic had become a little scarce like a year or 2 ago. I remember it myself with my grandson. And that they were having trouble getting him an antibiotic for an ear infection. And J.D. Vance mentioned the same thing. They were having trouble getting an antibiotic for their kids because they don't make it here anymore. So he says, let's just bring this stuff back. We'll put people to work and we'll solve these problems. We won't have these shortages. He knows the issues. He's very, very quick. He definitely has a presence on stage. He also talked about he wants to deport all illegals. And he did talk about his family plot in Kentucky, which he talked about recently as he accepted the vice presidential nomination. His family's had it since the Civil War in Kentucky. It's a family plot. He did say that he believes that the Democratic Party is turning America into a shithole. He said that, not me. He said they are turning this country into a shithole. He also said that the next vice president of the United States has to have the president's back and can't stab him in that back. He also talked about extensively his mom and her addiction and how he was raised by his grandmother. And my one biggest takeaway of seeing J.D. Vance is that he did not become a victim of his circumstances. He just didn't. He rose above it. He did have a grandma who raised him. His mom is now clean and sober for almost 10 years. But that's a lot to go through. And he was not a victim of his circumstances. And there are so many kids in this country who do become a victim of their circumstance. So it impressed me a lot. As I said, he has a presence about him. He's tall. He has steely blue eyes. And he just might be the next vice president of the United States. I was impressed by him. And I think it's going to be interesting to see that youth. A man with little kids running around. It's kind of nice to see. That's what I always liked about Vivek. As you know, I really, really, really love Vivek Ramaswamy. And that's what I liked about seeing him, his little kids and his wife. And it kind of gives you that hope. And they have so much to live for. There's so many years ahead of them. And nothing against 70-year-olds, but their life is a little bit past them. And when I see these young guys with young families looking to solve the problems of America, it makes me feel great because they have little kids and they're really doing it for their future. So J.D. Vance is it. He could be, as I said, the next vice president of the United States. All right, you know where to reach me. You can find me on Getter and on Instagram at Pickleball and Politics, on X at Pickle and Paul. Leave me a message right here on my YouTube channel. You know I love to hear your comments, and you know I write you back, and we can get a whole dialogue going here. All right, until next time, I'll see you again soon on Pickleball and Politics.